It wasn't Joseph's first dream. And we know from a later chapter of Matthew's gospel, this wasn't Joseph's last dream. But this was Joseph's dream of dreams. The dream that we heard about just now in Matthew's gospel, that is Joseph's dream of dreams. Dreams are marvelous things, aren't they? They're marvelous and they are mysterious. They're dark sometimes. Sometimes they crack open something for us that helps us better understand what's going on in our lives, or maybe what happened in years past. Maybe a dream will help us understand something about a relationship that is, getting us flummoxed. But this was Joseph's dream of dreams. And I wonder about Joseph's dreams. I wonder if he had those flying and falling dreams like we all have, where you think, you're flying in your dream. Or I wonder if he dreamt about the wood and the stone and the metal that he used every day in the workshop. I wonder if his family members and his neighbors appeared in his dreams, but as other people, the way that sometimes the people closest to us appear in our dreams, and they're so odd. I wonder if the occupiers, the Roman occupiers who terrorized their days, terrorized his nights. I wonder if maybe, just maybe, he had been dreaming about his marriage night soon to occur. But whatever the dream, on this night, in the dream of dreams, Joseph dreams of angels, an angel. Now maybe his dreams were frequented with angels, but this night he listens particularly and attends to the angel because the angel addresses him in the scripture from Isaiah. And he knew his Isaiah. And he, like all of his family and those neighbors, had long been longing for the day when Messiah would come, when Emmanuel would be there among them. So he listened, and he was obedient. Do not be afraid. Take Mary. Name the child Jesus, which means Yahweh saves. He will save his people. Emmanuel, that God with us, that God becoming one of us, like us. I wonder, that embodied person. I wonder if that's God's dream of dreams. To be not a God who is a monarch distant or a puppeteer with marionettes, but one that would be with us, we who are a little lower than the angels, who would be with us, who would feed us with his very life, who would teach us, who would heal us. I wonder if that's God's dream of dreams. Towards the end of my sabbatical, I flew out to Navajo land because they had a big project that was going to happen. And Mary Gill Vance drove from Florida by way of Austin and a new great-grandbaby. And we met out there to help with this big project. Now, because this is Navajo land and nothing ever happens the way it's supposed to happen in Navajo land, never, ever, ever, we did different things than we were expecting. And one of the things we expected to do was to participate in a revival, some kind of revival thing. Well, this revival became something else completely different. This revival became a panel discussion. which then became an intimate, very intimate conversation about youth and how to introduce a young person to Christmas and to Jesus, the Jesus of Christmas. So in the common room, there was a great big fire going, for it was very cold outside. And there was Father Red from St. Christopher's, and MG was there. And there was a Navajo couple who are members of the parish, and they were there. And there were two Mormon couples. This is Mormon country. So there were two Mormon couples. They looked like Mormons from Central Casting. And they were just the nicest people. So Father Red mentioned that his first encounter with a young person in Navajo land happened to be a teenage boy riding his horse across his lawn while texting on his phone. That was his introduction to youth in Navajo land. One of the Mormon ladies spoke very passionately about the way she believed that we bring up children to know Jesus at Christmas, and that is to bring them to church, to have them there sitting with you, to sing the carols, to teach them reverence. And I think we can relate to that, some of us. The other lady believed that what was very important for us to do is to teach about the blood atonement of Jesus. She felt so strongly about the gift that she had received through Jesus' death that, I had to give her a packet of tissues. So you can see they felt really strongly and passionately about this. Now, of course, the picture I had in my head of a young person in Navajo land does not have parents who are going to take them to church. And perhaps the carols that evoke reverence in us are not necessarily the same images and things that are going to evoke reverence in a teenage Navajo boy. But because this image of this kid on a horse, and knowing some of the needs and the difficulties in Navajo land as I do, that image was so vivid. It seemed, and because Christmas is incarnation and embodiment and God who is here with us, I said, of course, that we would introduce things to the young person that had to do with the body, the hands, how to be involved, how to, the whole person, because that whole person on that horse with the cell phone, that person, that body is valuable to God. Valuable. Why? Because of incarnation. Because God came to be one of us, to be with us. God's dream of dreams. Because someone had a dream and then he was obedient. He was not afraid. He took Mary. He named the child Yahweh Saves. His dream of dreams. And thereby we know that God reveres us. I wonder about our dream of dreams. Is it success, or the acquisition of stuff, or military might, or what are our dream of dreams? I think our dream of dreams is knowing that we are valued and loved because of the one who was obedient. If you're that teenage kid on the horse, or you're a mother trying to get the food stamps to last until the first of the month, or you're a respiratory technician switching off the vent, you know that this life is valued and hallowed because God came to be one of us and among us. You can tell, can't you, that this whole incarnation and embodiment thing is really important to me. And it gets me really revved up. And sometimes I think, I didn't say it to the Mormon lady sitting right over here, but sometimes I want to say, the reason of Jesus' living wasn't his dying. The reason for his living was his living. And his living among us. And being with us and letting us know. Letting that teenage Navajo kid know how valuable and revered and hallowed we are by the one who created us. Now, do I expect that the teenage kid thinks about these things? Or the mother trying to stretch the food stamps, or the respiratory technician, or most of us, do I expect that we really think about these things like this most of the time? Or even at Christmas? No, I don't. I might long for it, but I don't expect it. Because, our days are just too short. Our days are just so long. Maybe that's why God gave us dreams.